Hi everyone, I'm Shaylin here with Reedsy. We've got a bit of a juicy topic today because we're going to be talking about how much money authors make. If you're an author or an aspiring author, pretty much guaranteed at some point you've been asked how much money can you expect to make from that? And you've also probably had people assume that there's either no money in writing whatsoever or that any published author is like a millionaire. They think that publishing a book basically equals being rich. So there are a lot of ideas and misconceptions out there from the general public about how much money authors make today. We're just gonna be breaking down the figures. So hopefully you can answer that question with a bit more accuracy when you get asked, and you can have some more realistic expectations for your own career. Now I do want to say there's so much variance in this, so much. There are so many variables in place, and even when I give these general figures, there's so many outliers or exceptions. This is not really a rule. There's a huge range in how much authors make, and it also depends on like what you consider an author's income. Like, I could say that I'm a published author because I've published short stories. You know, my annual income from publishing short stories is maybe around $1,000 a year. So if we're just trying to average all writers, you're gonna have a lot of outliers. You're gonna have people like me who are barely making anything from their writing. You're gonna have people who are making six-figure advances. And there are just a lot of variables like your publishing path, the types of books you publish, and so much more. So where do authors make their money, and what does the figure breakdown look like? So self-published authors make 70% royalties on ebooks and 40 to 60% on print books, and they don't have any advances, so all their money is just coming from royalties. Traditionally published authors will typically get an advance. So this is when a publisher says, I think your book's gonna make about this much money. Here's a sum of money. You're not gonna make any royalties until you've earned out that advance, and then you'll start making royalties. And plenty of authors never do earn out their advances. So for a new first-time traditionally published author, you can expect maybe $5,000 to $10,000 for your advance. Advances can be huge. They can go up to like six figures, though this is rare. And authors will make between 5 to 18% royalties once they've paid off their advance on print books and 25% on ebooks. Again, keep in mind that the royalties typically are on the lower end of that. That 18% is quite high. You can expect more in the like 5, 6, 7, 8 range. It can definitely be enlightening to look up some of your favorite books and see if you can find what they made in their advance. It might be shockingly low in some cases, it might be shockingly high. So let's talk about self-publishing. It's pretty different because we're not dealing with advances. There's no negotiation happening. We're really just looking at the royalties here. So interestingly, a lot of self-published authors can actually make more than traditionally published authors. And a recent study on author earnings actually showed that there were more indie authors making 5 to 6 figures per year than big 5 authors. The raw data from the author's earnings methodology unfortunately isn't available for everyone to look at anymore, but it was very thorough. It analyzed up to 1 million titles, and there were some pretty interesting findings in there. So at every publishing age, so how long you had been actively publishing books, there were more high-earning indie authors than traditionally published authors. The gap was also much wider in new authors, so authors who had first started publishing in the past 3 to 5 years. This is in part because indie authors can get more digital exposure, but also because of the higher royalties that they make. Also because a lot of self-published authors, especially the most successful self-published authors, are able to publish very frequently, so they can build up very extensive backlists. Does this mean that if you choose to self-publish a book, you will make more money off that book than if you traditionally publish it? Not necessarily. It means that the systems in place allow certain self-published authors to succeed very highly, but it doesn't necessarily mean that every author with any book will make more money as a self-published author than a traditionally published author. But there are certain factors that allow for some indie authors to do very well. This is why usually the highest earning self-published authors are all romance authors. If they publish frequently and build extensive backlists and publish only as ebooks, they can make 70% royalties on a lot of book sales. That genre is very conducive to all of the factors that lead to successful self-publishing. There are certainly reasons traditional publishing might be more beneficial to you, such as the genre or marketability of your book. And there are also, of course, a lot of self-published authors who barely make any income or aren't able to pay back the investment they put into the book. But I do think this data goes to show that for the right book, the right author, self-publishing can be very lucrative. So how do you make money as an author, or how do you make more money as an author? The first tip is to write to market. At any given time, some books are more marketable than other books. Now, some genres are more static. They might have little fluctuations, but no sweeping trends, such as literary fiction. Other genres like YA will go through giant, enormous tidal shifts in terms of some books being incredibly marketable and others being basically impossible to sell in the traditional market. So does this mean that you should write a book just based on current market trends in your genre? Not necessarily. In fact, it's likely that the market will change by the time you do. What it does mean is that you should know your market. Research the market for your genre and niche. Know what sells in terms of content as well as in terms of marketing. Know how you're going to most successfully market a book in your genre. Step 2 is to publish a polished and professional product. A lot of indie authors who don't succeed, who are on that really low end of sales and really don't make any money, do so because their books don't look professional. They probably DIY the cover and they don't really go through extensive editing or set up their product pages or do any kind of professional looking marketing. It's very hard to market a book that doesn't have professional cover design and isn't well edited. If there isn't good cover design, it won't get many clicks and therefore won't get many sales. And if it's not well edited, you likely won't get very good reviews. I know it's pretty obvious, but if you want to sell a book successfully, it should be a professional, polished, well-packaged, well-presented final product. Step 3 is to build your backlist. Obviously, the more books you can sell, the more money you can make. So the more books you have published, the more money you can make from selling them. If you publish a series, one sale for a reader who really enjoys that first book can translate to sales for the rest of the series. If you have a 7-book series, one sale can translate to 7 sales. That's huge. So if your book has series potential that you'd like to explore, especially as an indie author, that can be pretty lucrative, but even building up a backlist of standalone novels in the same genre is great, again, especially for indie authors. Finally, you want to supplement your income. Most authors aren't able to support themselves full-time off book sales alone. Many nonfiction authors will offer coaching or consultation on the topic of their book. Many authors who are experts in a field and publishing a book on that topic are able to make more by offering personal consultation services. Other authors run courses or seminars as they start to gain credibility either in their nonfiction field or even as fiction writers. Keep in mind though, this is really only something that you want to do if you have the credentials to do so. Don't just start running a course if you don't have any credibility. Ghostwriting or editing services are also a great way that many authors supplement their income. Many authors have really adept editing skills and so can offer editing or critiquing services. Keep in mind though that both of these things, editing and ghostwriting, can include a significant amount of time, so make sure that you're prepared for the extra workload if you decide to take those projects on. And finally, don't give up. If your goal is to become a full-time author, it might not happen overnight. It requires some perseverance, so keep at it. Keep writing, keep publishing new work. You might not become the overnight success that you dreamed of as a kid, but keep writing and publishing work and finding new ways to supplement your income, and you might be able to get there over time. So that is how authors make money and what you can expect to make as an author. It's a very slippery, difficult topic to talk about just because there's so many factors. You know, it's not like you can just look up how much do authors make and get like, authors make this amount of money per year, because who knows, like it's very different for different authors. If you want to review any of the figures, if it kind of went by kind of fast in this video, I'll leave a link to our blog post below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos from us. We've got new writing, editing, and publishing tips every Tuesday and Friday. Until next time, bye.